Hello, Exiles. I hope the title of this video doesn't find you too grimly. I'm just kind of done, to put it simply. I'm enjoying the game still, and I want to play more Path of Exile, but I think it's time for me to step away from Kitava's Thirst. I've had a great time with it, and I've taken the build much farther than honestly I ever thought it could go. Like, actually just now, I did something with the build I didn't think was possible. That will be in a moment. But right now, I just want to talk about the build, kind of what we managed to do over the course of the league. A lot of small improvements were made that became bigger improvements. And the biggest one, though, was definitely using Arcanist Brand to Desecrate for single target. This opened up a lot for us because it took pressure off of other gear slots on a build that had issue with single target. That, honestly, is probably worth more than anything else, because things like our amulet and our weapon, we were looking at and we were thinking, +2. They gotta be +2. And getting a +2 amulet with the 10% chance to recover 10% of mana when you use a skill mod probably would have been prohibitively expensive. Even in this league, probably, we're getting a +2 amulet with both mods fractured. That I don't want to even imagine how expensive that base is. That said, we were able to get away from our Nexus gloves, and that opened up all sorts of opportunities. And yeah, let's go over the final tree, because I have made some changes. I did try to get to a more final tree than I have had yet, and explain why I did it. As you can see, I'm actually pathing through here right now. This was part of the oscillating scepter change. I was able to spec out of these nodes, and then I specced out of this one as well, and I moved that point here, since I plan to go through here anyways. With Parandus Pact, the jewel here giving us all this extra fire damage, these two nodes, which cost me 1, remember, because this was just moved, replaced the loss of the 40% damage implicit. So that seemed high value enough for me to go for. As you can see, the rest of it, this jewel now, I think with this node added, is giving us something like 108% fire damage, which is rather nice. That's our kiss from the league mechanic, and it was quite the kiss. The other points, some were put over here to get a jewel, which gave me some life, a little bit of damage, and properly capped my chaos res, which was important for what I did on the other side of the tree. Because over here, you can see this is gone. Yeah, this is gone. And we're actually using Tireless and its wheel, which has reduced cost of skills, which kind of replaces what I lost from here a little bit. I also like path through this node instead of this elemental damage node. And then I come around, most importantly, and I actually get Sanctum of Thought like hard coded into the tree. This creates an interesting situation where I could actually improve further by using tattoos to reduce the critical damage I'm taking that way and drop my shield as it currently is. And instead of going for spell block and reduced extra damage from crits, I could go for spell block and reduced physical damage taken, which would accentuate what I've already done much further. Because not only is our armor now 23,650 unflasked, 34k with flask, but we have 10% of physical damage from hits taken as chaos damage. With 75% chaos damage, that's 7.5% physical damage reduction, more or less. It's good. This was a lot of effective HP gain, which I probably needed to do what I do later. Or I guess have already done, from my perspective, but later for you. Still the same old Watcher's Eye. Potentially, I guess I could keep the shield and go for a Clarity mod with the reduced physical damage taken mod on Determination as well. That's also an option. Lots of things I could do to kind of get that. In a perfect world, you get all three. You have 8% here, 8% on your body armor, and 8% on the shield. And that's another 20% or 24% physical damage reduction, and I probably would have had a much better time on the boss I was fighting. Thing is, getting those upgrades probably wouldn't be that hard. It's just I have played 4 days, 11 hours on this character over a couple weeks now, and I'm tired, boss. I don't have the most time to play, and there are other things I want to do this league. Mainly, I really want to get into Soul Self-Found and see what that's like, because this build is very strong as a league starter, as I'm sure most people who played it know, and there's kind of an issue with that, because I didn't really get to experience how difficult the league mechanic was at launch, and I want to experience how difficult it is from a fresh start now after they've made changes. All that said, I do want to go into one real quick thing about this weapon, because the way I found to make this weapon, as you can see, is rather not that difficult. You get your oscillating scepter, you get it at eye level 83. That's the ideal one for my calculations, at least. You don't have too many above mods to worry about, but you have all the best mods you could hope to get. And I looked at it, and Deafening Essences of Fear were not that expensive at this point in the league, and I realized I could just smack it. I could just smack it until I hit +1 physical spell or +1 all spell skill. And I did. I actually hit it once, but the prefixes were full and I missed the annul. I wanted to isolate the prefixes, which is what I did. I got those two. I had an open suffix. I crafted on prefixes cannot be changed and scoured it, and then just multi-modded for the trigger craft and cast speed, because cast speed, minion damage, and plus levels are really all that we care about on the weapon. Most of the other stats are irrelevant. There's like, I guess, a small mention for, say, a tiny bit of spell crit could be okay for keeping elemental overload up better, although this build has never had an issue with that. You could go for the fire damage suffix. If I were going to make the ideal perfect weapon, it would either be +2, or I would do a similar process to this, where I hit the cast speed, and then I kind of YOLO a Veiled Orb to get the trigger that way. And what that does, or I guess, okay, that's one way. Yeah, so you either have the cast speed, and you can do it. I overcomplicated this. YOLOing the Veil is one way to get the trigger on that way. Alternatively, if you already have the cast speed, what you can do is you can do multi-mod, and if you have an open prefix, you can actually make use of a craft that I don't talk about a lot because it's just hard to get the weapon going on this, but this is the best craft you could hope to get. And you can actually put this on your shield too, and that's fire damage is extra chaos, which, yeah, it's the one-handed variant, so 7 to 8%, and that does apply to the secondary explosion effect, so that's quite a bit of damage if you go for it. I could also have it on the shield, like I said, if I had an open prefix. So you could potentially get like 16% there, and I guess after resistances on the really big enemies, I don't know, it's probably something like 12 to 15% more damage. It's good. It's worth going for, and I would, if I were still playing the build, it would be on the list right there with getting the extra physical damage reduction. And then probably also looking into ways to solve elemental mitigation, because I do wish I had more of that. It doesn't come up often, but in something like, say, Ubers, it comes up a whole lot. So, like I said, a lot of work to do with the build if I wanted to get it perfect, and then to take the next step, because that's just the way it goes. Because now that I know what I'm doing, I probably would have made different decisions about how I geared. It wasn't the best build for scaling the first time around, but now that I figured it out, this will probably be much easier to replicate next league, assuming Detonate Dead of Chaining is still alive. Big assuming. That said, as you can see after the changes, 5,400 raw life, 2k energy shield, 2k mana, bunch of armor, bunch of, what did you call this? Elemental / chaos mitigation for our physical hits. It's 12 plus 10, so, or 11, I should actually fix that later. 12 plus 10 would be 22. It's a tanky build. I'm very happy with it. What I have set up, because I promised I would do it at some point, is a quick showcase. First, a Citadel, which is a T17 I've never run before. And that goes a little tits up because I didn't, I knew nothing about that boss going in, and I made some mistakes. I made some mistakes, and I had to log out a couple times because I got my action speed reduced to 0, which you can't do against that boss, by the way. I feel like that mechanic's a little silly. It's almost like a soft death, where the game's just like, well, your action speed's 0, and the boss will never let you get it back. So I don't know how I felt about that. All the same, Uhtred's a bitch. He died. He did die. He got me once too, but it was my first time. I don't think I'll ever die to him again if I do that fight again. And then I did another one that I was more familiar with, Sanctuary map fighting Lycia, just to show that. And then I did the one thing I really always should have done at some point on this build, and I fought an Uber. And you get to see how that goes. I'm gonna say now, my recommendation for Ubers is this is not the build for it. If I had all of my physical damage reduction, that fight probably wouldn't have been that bad. Even so, this just isn't the, like, exemplary DPS you need to effectively do Ubers all the time. You really need a build that is either mega unkillable with this much damage. So if I could get the defenses up, it would probably be fine. Or you need a build that is just capable of doing, I don't know, this damage times 10 or more. You need a lot, if I'm being perfectly honest. So yeah, let's get to that. Okay, turn off the shrines. Help. man and his build against this asshole. I know nothing about this fight. That he's pretty fast. Oh, I forget which way he's going. Oh, I can tank all of that, but my action speed was 0, so... I was frozen, even though I cannot be frozen. Right? Oh. Yeah, that's... Nothing he's done so far has been, like, dangerous enough to be scary. It just keeps backing me out of the damn fight. Yeah, now he's gonna go for the next one. Rana. Oh, I jumped into the okay, well, that's me sucking at the game. Nice. Actually easy. I just sucked. Shame. Okay. I see her. She's pressing my spells. About it. Time. Oh. Right. Oh. Easy, dude. Although this definitely won't ever be the best Uber farmer, I think. Whoa! Ooh. Those balls are aggressive, dude. That was like shocking, actually, that killed me. Holy shit, that's spooky. Yeah, I needed the extra fizz reduction. At least one mod would have made a huge difference. Ah, these little bastards. What the The game wouldn't let me move. I couldn't move, man! What the hell was that? Like, actually though, it was just sitting there laughing at me as I tried to shield charge. I should have brought better flasks. Yeah, Jesus, this is getting embarrassing, actually. Fuck, he sits in the corner and it's like you're fucked. I kinda hate Ubers, holy shit. I don't wanna do this, dude. I keep getting dropped inputs in the middle of the fight, dude. I'm not even gonna put this in the video. Like, actually, this is not going in the video. I'm just gonna tell people it didn't work out. Oh, it didn't do it. I don't know where he's at. And there's balls everywhere. Shit, dude. The balls are all freaking out, dude. Oh. I think what sucks is I could have done it too. If I had been better at it. Oh shit, I'm gonna die. Can I have some escapable doom? Oh, thank you, Block. Ah! I guess it is going in the video. I clutched it out. It was not so bad once I started understanding the fight. That's hard, would not recommend, but doable. If I had my body armor and my shield where I wanted it, that actually probably would have been a lot easier, because that'd have been like another 14 to 16% physical damage reduction, and he was hitting me a lot harder with his auto attacks than I anticipated. So I couldn't really stand on him the way I wanted to. But yeah, I was not ready for how difficult that fight actually was going to be on Uber. I didn't realize the AoEs were that big and everything baseline. Holy shit. Cool helmet, by the way. Not my favorite Zealot helmet, but definitely one of the ones that exist. Damn. Yeah, so I'm probably as shocked as you are that I got through that Uber fight with one portal left. Quite the clutch out. I'm actually recording this right after that. You can see that was my last portal. There's no portals left over here. I just went in there and I prayed. I praged. And I'll be honest, now that I know the fight, I could probably do it again, and it would be much smoother. But I guess pretty good for first time ever trying an Uber. You know, I'll give myself that pat on the back. It's a rather difficult fight. I didn't know it was going to be that hard. I'm glad I did it though, and the answer is yes. If you absolutely had to, the build can do Ubers. I still wouldn't recommend it. Maybe next league, I'll get back to this point faster, and I'll be able to iterate on it more, because that will definitely be my goal next league if the build still functions and it's not like nerfed into the ground. I'm gonna be like, how Ubers is gonna be like my entire focus probably. So I'm kind of excited to try that out. But for right now, I'm excited to get into other things. I'll probably still be around. I might even still stream. It's gonna be on the solo self-found side of things, probably with a non-beta build. So I'm gonna be suffering, which will be very different from this. I'm gonna enjoy that, and I hope you've enjoyed this version of the build if you've played it. I hope you're enjoying the league in general. And as always, I hope you have a good one, Exiles.